Hi, I'm Sarah Bergendine with Casey Mobile Vet, and I'm finishing up just doing some videos on nutritional topics that I've been asked about over the years, or topics that have come up, or questions that have come up in appointments, or in the news, or on commercials that people have seen. So I want to dispel some of the myths out there and try to combat a lot of the marketing strategies that have been used on certain dog food brands specifically. So today I want to talk about byproducts, and I think that's gotten a bad term too. So in one of my earlier videos I talked about this, but byproduct is anything that is secondary to the prime reason that we kill and process an animal for food. So again, when we kill a cow and process that cow, we're really doing it primarily to get the certain cuts of meat, most likely for human consumption, because you can get a lot more for human consumption, meaning that your ribs, my favorite's the filet, your KC strip, all those cuts of meat will go for a higher price. That being said, the rest of the muscles that we eat that may be chewier, that may not have as much taste, that may just be not such great cuts of meat for humans, because we have learned to enjoy eating, me as well, doesn't mean that the body can't derive nutrients from that, but no one's going to pay to get the cheap meats, right? And so that is what is oftentimes used in pet foods. So in addition, though, there are other parts of the body that can be used. A lot of them are organ meats, and a lot of people still eat organ meats. But we think about that like no byproducts. Byproducts we think of like chicken feet and things like that. But a lot of times you're talking about those organ meats. And I remember growing up as a kid eating chicken livers and thinking they were fantastic. I liked them. And when I was in vet school, I went down to Florida to do flea research when I was in vet school. And one of the other students that was down there with me, she and I went all over Tampa looking for, I think, beef tongue and oxtail, because she grew up having that as part of her recipes. And I don't know what she made it with, but we went searched high and low looking for that. You know, my dad loves something called scrapple, which apparently is a big thing up north. You know, the Scottish people eat black pudding. Pate is liver, I think, and expensive too. Caviar, expensive. Those are fish eggs. These are all byproducts. Chitterlings, which I believe are intestines, or the walls of the intestine, beef or pork intestines. Sweetbreads, which is the thymus gland, which is up through here. Let's see, is there anything else? Oh, blood sausage, which is awful. But there are a lot of people that like it. But there's a lot of, if you look at it, caviar, pate, I think are pretty pricey byproducts. Now, I know a lot of people give their dog pig's ears or bully sticks or antlers. Although don't do pig's ears right now, because there's a huge recall, and think the FDA has said something about salmonella. But as an aside, but these are things that a lot of dogs love. Those are byproducts. So byproducts are not inherently bad. Again, if you look in the wild, if you look at any sort of lion pack and they kill an animal and they're all going to feed off of that animal, do you know who's going to eat the organ meats? Who's going to have their chance at it first? It's the alpha, the most important, the leader. So they're going to have their chance to eat first, and they're going to eat the stomach. They're going to eat the heart. They're going to eat all of these organ meat. So they don't necessarily have the human preference. I mean, just because I don't want to eat the cow heart doesn't mean that my dog doesn't. Human preference is completely different, you know, and if we put that on them, doesn't necessarily mean they like it or don't like it. I like salad. My dog does not like salad. She would not eat salad. I like ice cream. My dog does not like ice cream. So again, when you hear those marketing ads that if you loved your pet like family, you would feed them like family. Well, here's the thing. You got to be careful because we want them to be healthy. But remember that a lot of the preferences that we have for food are not the same preferences our animals have for food. So hope that helps kind of take away some of these myths about byproduct, chicken meal versus real chicken, corn being a filler, the price point of things, the grain-free fads, and if you haven't, I've done videos on a lot of those today as well. But I really, really want to drive home the fact that you do not have to spend an arm and a leg on your pet's dog food, or your pet's dog food or cat food, excuse me. There are so many of us out there that have so much going on in our lives. I think the important thing is if you want to spend $80 on a bag of dog food, you know, 20-pound bag of dog food for your dog, go right ahead. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying don't buy an 80-pound dog or an $80 bag of dog food for your dog because you feel like that's the only way you can get good nutrition and be a good pet parent. Price or expense has nothing to do with how good a dog food is. What we are concerned with is, are they getting the appropriate nutrition? And at this point, I've always said, if someone ever tells you, you can only buy this brand, this is the best brand, they are trying to sell you something. And most of your dog food or pet stores, you know, they say, oh, well, this is the best. That's the best. I would tell you that these are people who have been educated by their sales reps to say X, Y, and Z. Or, because and it happens to us too. We have sales reps that come and hit us and say, oh, ours is better than theirs. Well, then that one comes in and says, no, ours is actually better than theirs for these reasons. Well, what we have to do is sit back and go, okay, here's the thing. I think all of these products are really awesome. Yes, maybe this one has an edge over this one because of this reason. And we have to discern, okay, for this particular pet, maybe this brand of food is better than this brand because of this reason. Or this medicine is better for this dog because of that reason. So we discern based on individual needs. But across the board, if you're looking at what is better, there is not one dog food that is better than another, all the others or so, just because it is that brand. I will say, if I'm looking for brands to feed my own animals, I want a dog food or a cat food company that is hiring a veterinary or animal nutritionist to formulate those. A veterinary nutritionist is someone who graduated from vet school, did at least 2 to 3 years residency in nutrition, and passed the nutrition boards on top of the veterinary boards. So they've gone really in depth with understanding and knowing everything about nutrition in the species that they are doing, whether it be small animal or large animal. If they are an animal nutritionist, my husband has his undergrad and master's in animal nutrition, and I asked him the other day, can you formulate diets? He said, not until I have my PhD. So animal nutritionists are not necessarily veterinarians, but they've had their undergrad, their master's, and their PhD in animal nutrition. And these are the people that can formulate diets, figure out what ingredients need to go in to balance everything out so that we do not have nutritional deficiencies in these animals. In addition, they are also learning how to help treat or cure disease as a result of the foods. So for instance, if I have a pet who has kidney failure, we can do, in fact, right now, kidney failure, the only thing that we can do that can maybe prolong their life a little bit is by changing their diet. So there is no medicine for that. There is no vaccine. There's nothing that we can do for kidney disease, chronic kidney failure, I should say, except for change the diet, really, and do things surrounding the nutritional aspect. So that's huge. But there's a lot of diseases where nutrition can play a huge role in the treatment or the cure. So in any case, look to see which brands typically have them on staff all the time, not just that they hired them when they first started and have been able to kind of formulate just those diets, because then if they change the diets at all, or if they couldn't get the ingredients anymore, they're going to have to reformulate those diets and hire those nutritionists again. So the big brands that I feel safe with are IAMS, which is what I feed my dog because I can get it at the grocery store. Even Purina One or Purina Pro Plan. Purina has been an industry leader in veterinary nutritional research for over 100 years. Science Diet, Hills, Royal Canin, Waltham. And I know there's going to be a lot of people out there who have been, told for years and years that these companies are dangerous or they're bad or whatnot. And it's not grounded in anything. I always say, ask veterinarians what they feed their animals. And I'm part of a Mom DVM Facebook group, and it was asked what we all fed our animals. And you know what most of that group that responded fed? They fed Purina Pro Plan. So again, I think you can get both of those actually, Purina One and Pro Plan, at a grocery store. IAMS, up until just recently, I could get it at Costco. I'm now ordering it through Amazon. And I used to be able to get 50 pounds for, I think, $40 at Costco. And now I think I'm getting 30 pounds for $30 or something like that. I'm not breaking the bank getting dog food for my dogs, but at least I feel safe knowing that they are not going to have nutritional deficiencies. So anyway, as always, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions whatsoever. Call us, email us, reach out to your veterinarian. I know your veterinarian also wants to help answer questions. We don't know you have questions if you don't ask us, and we are happy to answer questions because so many sources of misinformation, so many commercials are attacking us from all left and right, and magazines and TV and everything with just misinformation. So reach out to us. We want to help. We want to answer your questions. So, all right, well, have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and we'll talk to you soon.